So, good morning, ladies. It's 6:30 a.m. Sunday, and I couldn't sleep so much because yesterday I came out of the hospital. Don't worry, it's no drama so far. Everything seems to be good. The reason they sent me to the hospital is for a long-term pressure test, and the reason I'm going to talk about is because yesterday I realized that the best thing about the hospital is that you see other patients, and then you understand the way you react to things, and you're not overdoing it. So what I realized basically yesterday is that everybody was afraid in the same way as I was. Meaning, when you, for some reason, being sent to the hospital because of they are concerned about your eye pressure, you think about the you're obviously concerned about your eyes, as you should. I think when I was younger, people said to me, Lucas, yeah, be careful with your eyes when you do work with stuff. You only have two. They are very important. And so I would say when it comes to eyes, it's really important to maybe even be a little bit more scared. Or let's put it that way, it's probably okay to be more scared. And so what I've realized is, first of all, I'm going to take out the drama of it. So far it seems to be good. So I have like a stable value. I was higher at the doctor's office. What I do also since 3 months is eating a spinach salad every morning. Like not preparing it nicely, just 2 hands full of spinach salad, baby spinach or something, or sometimes just another green salad, whatever is available. And that's something I added to my diet every day. I cut out most of the sugar because I really liked sweets. And as a precaution, I still allow myself some sugar, but much less than before. And I cut it out completely, any kind of cola, Coke. So I used to love cola. I still like it, but I changed from normal cola to Cola Zero for a while, and eventually what I do now is my mom bought me like a juice making machine, and I make a lot of carrot juice also. I know it sounds like I'm completely changed, but the thing is actually the carrot juice I enjoy actually. It's very delicious. And it replaced a little bit the desire for Coke in a normal way, not in a forceful way. I didn't have to force myself to not to do it. That's good, because if you have too much force on stuff, you cannot keep up this habit. If you change too many habits drastically, very likely you'll fail. Anyway, a reason I'm talking about this is because we like 7 patients or something, we were, and everybody had to go through the same measurement. So every 4 hours we sit there in front of the waiting room for the doctor's room, and I got always nervous before they take measure, because you want to have a low value, because that means you not 100%, but basically that's a good thing. You don't want to have like a high pressure. And you're concerned about when your heart beats faster that the pressure increases, because they wouldn't exclude that. Eventually it turned out that I was always super nervous, but the eye pressure was okay. And this is what I also at the end on the releasing day, the last pressure appointment, I saw an older guy being also nervous, because he said to me, "Oh, I didn't know that they would test us again." And then I picked up because he said that. Because it was scheduled like in the morning we're gonna be measured, and then then in the midday we would be released, but they did another measurement. Maybe that's the reason, maybe they wanted to measure when people don't expect. Although I wouldn't think this works, because I was even more nervous when I also realized it. However, so I realized he was nervous, and he talked to me about, he was saying, "Hey, I didn't know that they would measure again." I said, yeah, it's scary, right? And then he said, yeah, he's always nervous. And I said, yeah, me too. I'm super nervous. And you wouldn't think so because he was much bigger than I. I'm a small guy. I'm tall, but I'm thin. And he was much. So I mean that everybody gets scared. I was measured then first, and my value, my test came back, and they were actually happy with that. And so I realized, okay, my heart was beating like crazy. It was like while they were measuring, and I really thought, oh boy, this time it's not gonna it's not gonna be a good value. It can be. I'm just freaking out here, while I'm on the outside still calm, but in the inside I freaked out. I let them know also. They are very nice. I say meanwhile when I get scared that I'm scared because I have panic attacks. That helps me sometimes, not always, but it takes away the pressure. Meaning, if I get scared, I cannot articulate myself, and I freak out. And when I let people know, they at least understand that I'm not speaking in my normal calm way. Sometimes some people don't understand still, and whatever, fuck that. It's just, people are people. You cannot please everybody. But yeah, anyway, so my awareness came back quite good, and then I was basically released, and then I went to the guy again and let him know. Let's say, listen, even if you're scared, and believe me, I was scared. My heart was beating. It didn't influence the measurement, so you can relax on that. So meaning, no matter what he is doing, it doesn't change the outcome. And he was a little bit more relieved. Eventually, I don't know. I had to leave. This is just you just move on because But patients were very nice, and it really helps to see that you're not the only one who because when you have when you're just being by yourself, it always helps when you see people suffer with the same condition, because you cannot compare you cannot adjust yourself if you have, it doesn't matter what it is, I freak out about the eyes because it's not only that. They also, when I went to the hospital, I thought it's just for the eye pressure itself, but there was another thing which was, they brought it up. You're here for this and this. I'm not going to mention that right now. And I was thinking, what? And I was thinking, fuck, come on, no. And that was a little bit hard. But it seems to be working good. And I actually told them about my salad habit, that I changed that. They were kind of intrigued, And also everybody was nice, including the doctors. This is something in Germany. While I hate some things when the phone the receptionists and stuff like this, they are sometimes harsh. While I understand that they are harsh because they have to deal with assholes all day long, it still shouldn't matter. I think still that has to be dealt with. Meaning, I think in a health environment, if people work, they are getting exhausted because they have too many asshole patients, which I would understand. Then they also need their coping mechanism to not release this on patients when they have a bad day. Because this is not another, I think it contributes them. There is medication. There are not so many options. Even if you're not a doctor, sooner or later you understand they are limited in helping patients. But what helps mostly is when you let the patient talk a bit, and when you give him an environment of understanding and calming down. Also, what helped me was, for example, he was just saying this by I was talking to him, hey, what could have triggered that? What I have, which is eye floaters, which is, because of eye floaters, I started the whole journey. And so I asked him, is there anything I could have done there to prevent that? And he basically, while there are some things, sure, which you can do, like diet, exercise, and so on, which I already do, contribute for eye health, right? He also said, no, sometimes it's just, sounds stupid, but it's an age thing. And also, don't blame yourself for that, And just hearing that is sometimes really good, because you think, oh, did I screw that up? Because shortly before I had the eye floaters, I was sick. It was a bunch of things which I did. I also traveled, which I shouldn't have done, maybe because my mom was there and I wanted to spend time with her. So I forced myself, although I was sick, to go with her. And she wanted me to go also. She knew that I was sick too. To visit Poland together, and so we did, because we cannot do this so often anymore. And other things, and then after that, and during this time, I developed some eye floaters, and that is almost over a year ago. And since that, I'm on an eye journey, which freaks me out. And I also want to say, I think it is when you develop eye floaters, or anything drastically changing when you're older, you will freak out, you will pay attention to that, and the advice to ignore them, even if it's meant well, will not work. I would say don't ignore them. Just look at them when you want, because eventually you're getting sick and tired of it. And you cannot ignore that anyways. It's in your vision. It's just in your vision. And your brain will adapt, but it takes a year, at least a year, to be kinda okay with that. Still freaking out. I mean, I do. If there's only eye floaters, you are fine. You maybe a half year is enough. But if it's changing and you're getting some tests, and you basically not having a diagnosis still, you don't know what's happening here, you're not being checked completely, there's still this little bit of a doubt which drives you nuts. Literally, that drives you nuts, because you wake up, you see things, you're getting crazy. And so I would say it's normal to be scared, and it's okay to not be able to ignore that. And I say no. It's the same thing with when you're panicking. You cannot ignore that you're getting anxious. You can only influence that. So when I have a panic attack, also what I tried yesterday before taking the measurement, when my heart started to beat faster, I tried breathing, everything, but I couldn't change the outcome. I could influence it. I could be the calmest myself, but it was still, the heart is just, it knows this is important. It just says, good, it's it's a stressful situation. You need to run, Lucas, run. What happened? Crazy. And I was thinking about my cat. I only had one time a cat. I'm not a cat person. I like dogs too. But I had a cat which was behaving like a dog, called Yoshi. And this was the best thing I could think of, which was calming me down, because everything else was too complex. Every human I was thinking, who even, okay, let's think about your family. But there's family stuff going on. You think about, the best thing I could actually think of was really my cat, because it's not a human. You're not connect. It is not judgmental. It's just, I knew my cat was happy with me, and vice versa. And we also played around. He bit me. I was rough on him when he bit me, but not too rough. We had a great time, and and he was always my Yoshi. And he was always there, and he was stubborn like me. And biting at the beginning when I had so many scratches, because he was playing, and then you could see it in his eyes when he got crazy. Like, when you play with cats, be careful. When they start off cute, but if they go into this now mood, they just, you use the back of the legs, the back legs, and they just go over your skin. So be sure to cover that with something if you play around with them. But it was a great cat, actually helped me a bit, but still I could only influence the outcome a bit. Influencing I can, but I cannot control it. Other with medication, but I'm not a fan of medication whatsoever. I really, I'm so against that. If there is things you can change, if lifestyle changes can contribute to the same outcome as can medication, I always go for that rather than medication. Medication only if there are no other options available. Meaning a lot of people, including myself, got when I was younger even, rather than changing the habits, like me, stop smoking, stop drinking, do exercise. They gave me some blood pressure medication also to lower my heartbeat frequency, which is always higher when I'm under stress than a normal person. But I think now it's really just a podcast. Yeah. Now, that's it. I want to just say that my experience, and I just this time I'm sharing it. I hate this thing of sharing because the stupid thing about the stupid fucking YouTube is every video I make, even if I don't want to get my ego too involved in that. I don't want to just make a video to get a good job or something like that. When I say things about that, I always think, is this why I'm saying that? Is this really helping, or is this about me want to get approval? I always have that. I hate this about YouTube. I'm way too aware. I think I don't like this in general. That's why I say it out loud to make this clear. Listen, you don't have to like this video for exactly this reason. So don't do it. Don't like it. But if it helps you, then that's good. So, and I mean it, because there is always this part of me which wants to have approval, which is fine. But this sharing is not there for abusing that in this way. I sometimes don't know the reasons exactly. I think it's probably both. I want to have approval, but I also want to share that because I saw that yesterday helping. I'm good actually when in real talking to real people. It's easier. Also, I want to say something funny, which made me. It was really good. I'm not sure if I can translate that because it's in the German language. But next to me was also sitting, left on my side was sitting an older woman, older woman. And she had already, I could tell, a little bit of starting maybe dementia, Alzheimer, something like that, because she started out with the words saying to me, I don't understand the world anymore. And at this point, it wasn't 100% clear what it is, but talking to her a little bit, and I said to her basically, no worries, nobody does, which I really think is true. I think no one understands the world, and we all understand it partially. So I said, no worries about it, no one does, And she said, yeah, but I gotta feel a little bit ashamed of that. And then I realized, she's confused. She doesn't know what's going on because she asked me, I don't know if you can get home. Do you think we can get home? And then was clear to me she's probably in a nursing home. And I said, we have to wait for the doctor. We don't know. And then she said something about she would feel a little bit embarrassed, because she's not behaving. She noticed that she's not quite there. She couldn't make sense of everything. Also, she didn't know the city where she was born, so I just named the name of the city where we are. Where she lives. I asked her, I wanted to distract her, hey, where do you come from? And then she said, no. And I said, because she couldn't answer immediately, I suggested the city in which we are currently. And she said, yeah, that maybe, do you think so? I said, yeah, it's very likely that you live here. And then she said again, she feels ashamed. And I said, no worries about this. I said, look around, all the patients are they are all busy with themselves. No one cares, and their staff, they are also busy with work. So no worries about. So there's no one, And then she started to raise her hands and made some weird gestures. It just raised her hands left and right and tried to catch some flies which weren't there. And then I said, hey, do you see some points? And she said, yeah, I see some. And then she, do you see them too? And I said, yes, I see them. And she responded, yeah, what's up with that? In a fun, it's funny because I'm not sure if I translate that. In the German, she said, ja, was soll denn das? She was kind of like upset, but in a cute way upset, like, why? What's that good for? Or what's up with that? Or something. I don't know how to translate that really. Was soll denn das? Yeah, maybe I can ask ChatGPT to give you a good translation in this case because I don't know. Let me check. Can you maybe translate was soll denn das in the English way? Yeah, the sentence, the German sentence. Was soll denn das? No. Wait, you're not here. Not what should it be. More in the way, like upsetting way or annoying way. Was soll denn das?
I got it. In that sense, it would translate more like, what's that supposed to mean? Or what's that all about? With that kind of annoyed tone.
Yeah. Other ways of saying that?
Absolutely. You could also say something like, what's that supposed to be? Or what's that all about? Or even what's the meaning?
Yeah. What's that all? Yeah. What was the middle thing? What's that all about?
Exactly. That's right. What's that all about is a great way to convey that kind of annoyed or puzzled tone as well.
Okay. Good. Then you have it. What's that all about? Let me just see the text. What's that all about? Yeah. What's that all about? So in a kind of way, she was, like I said, yeah. I didn't say that. I was just smiling inside because I thought it's so cute. It made me also like this. I also struggle with that. It flies in the vision, and she, yeah. What's that all about? What's that good for? So that was helpful. Yeah, I had also a good roommate. He had a different eye problem, diabetic. He's a diabetic, and for that he had a much harder condition than I had. And he was from Turkey. Was a good guy, and yeah. So also you see other things. Yeah. Overall, it was a good experience. Again, the staff was nice. The people, patients were very good. Was super scary, and I just wanted, to talk about this. Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, now I'm gonna do the Blender stuff now, which I wanted to do in the first place. Now it's almost 7, so my idea is, what you see here basically is whatever. I want to do a new overlay. Here's my old sword from, I think, 2021 or something. This is quite okay. Not most of the old things I have in Blender are, the old stuff is mostly not good, because there are ways I would handle things differently, but for what I have in mind, this should be sufficient. I just made this section here a little bit rounder. I would use a different method probably to create the sword again, but I want to do a little overlay like you see the computer down below in a different way. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, what's that all about? Yeah. So here, so now I remember. So I started this before I left the hospital. To distract myself, also to make an overlay for a pixel game, which is called Forsaken Kind, which I didn't buy yet. Not sure if I'm gonna buy it, but I'm gonna make an overlay now. So here is the shield. The idea is that I create. I'm just gonna do it, and I have to look for the files. There are some missing textures here. You will see in a second. Or not. Doesn't appear. Missing files. Let's try it again. Should actually look for this. Doesn't. That's weird. Missing files. Weird. Okay, let's look in here. Maybe because I plugged it in. Let me restart Blender. Maybe I plugged in my my Blender files are on my external SSD. And maybe I plugged in the external SSD too late. Let's try this again. And now it's here. Okay, you can see this is the idea, but I'm not so certain about that one here right now. Anyway, it's gonna be pixelated. That's the idea. So it doesn't. Let's do that right now. I can tell if we can see that phase. Anyways, that's also the reason why the soil is completely fine, because it's eventually it's gonna be not realistic. I'm using here the compositor. Compositor is basically in Blender like an after image editor. You can say. Okay, let's use what's that? What's that all about? Yeah. That's also the one thing, I realized about life is there is no way of getting really wise. I think when you face the reality of life, even if you have read a lot of things, even if you think you start to be wise because you've seen also things, it is still a different thing when it hits yourself, and you should be prepared of that. Don't because there is, if you think you're okay and you're getting scared though later, you feel bad about yourself even. So don't expect that you will handle it well. I think you handle it the best when you are okay with getting scared as well, and that's the best thing, And also it's not helping anybody, neither yourself nor other people, that you handle it well. It's not necessary. And if you allow that, you handle it better anyways, because you can freak out a bit, a bit. Don't sure if you to a certain degree, that makes sense. Yeah. So okay, enough drama. It's not the worst in the world. Things I can do, and I will. It's just okay. I need to transform. No. Pixelated. Here we go. It's that simple. I'm not quite there though. See, and that's the idea. It's already done. And the thing is though, so we can already use that. I think, yeah, it's already good enough, to be honest, for an overlay, at least for the idea I have in mind. However, you know what? This one here is a little bit more detailed, but it was just a test detail. So what I did, so if I want to use this format to make a game asset out of that, I would need to make a low poly version of this one when this is done, and then just bake the details on that. But as a pixel, I can use that already, I think, very much so. That's the face. I'm gonna put this aside. You know, a function in Blender I would love to have is just really like in cycles, for example, you can, maybe it's possible meanwhile with the new Eve that you can only render what is in the vision. Sure, you can put things, you know, on the back and then, you know, say no, don't render them. But I like this idea that you can just say this excerpt of the vision shall, only that shall be rendered and nothing else should, what is not visible shall not be rendered. That would be great. Yeah. Yeah, this was a failure. What did I? No. Clear parent. Here we go. And here we go. Let's position the camera. 90. Although this is actually not too bad. Next, so I don't need that. And the best thing about this format is that actually no, we actually need, that's completely fine for what I have in mind. So the resolution, this is gonna be good enough as an overlay. Here we go, and this is how it approximately looks yet. Ray tracing in this case makes sense because we have metal. Film, I want to use transparent. And I have to pre-render it. Here I can see the final thing because there is a great, you don't see that, yeah, I forgot about this. When I do pre-render it again, let me just open the second window, take a screenshot. No, always on top. In Linux, there's a nice feature. Every window you have, you can put this on top. So let me open the second Blender one window for you. Let me pause it for a second to be sure it's the right window. Couldn't do it, so I just decided to show you the whole screen. Just have to remember that. So yeah, basically this preview. So when you press F12, you render your scene, right? And then let's try it again. Yeah. And this is the final render. But this is still, I'm gonna right click and say always on top. Now I can still after render, after edit the video. And here I'll see, this one sometimes doesn't tell, depending on how you zoom in or zoom out, you know, it'll look different. So this is a better way to check the compositor. This is maybe too pixelated. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult because the face needs to be kind of seen. So maybe I make this one here bigger, but this wouldn't, maybe just a little bit. Like so, and this one like so. Don't know if I like it like that. Although maybe this one can rotate. That would be cool, right? Let's do that. Let's do that. Oh, why is this so? Why is my PC so slow? Yeah, maybe this has to do with an old project or something. This is a weird one right now. The PC is really struggling right now. That shouldn't be the case at all. Maybe it is the, yeah, it could be the compositor. Let's check this out again. Let me just deactivate that. No, it has nothing to do with it. Okay, there must be, again, this sword is very old. Let's check out what I've done so far. But that cannot be it. Okay, I assume I used some stupid shader methods. Let's check this out. No, let's check out the shader method of the sword. But I already replaced them, the old one. No. Okay. Also a technique what I sometimes use when I'm not certain about why the performance sucks so much right now. It's just deleting them and see if this is responsible for that. Okay, the sword doesn't seem to be responsible for that. I could also deactivate it in here, but it's easier. Okay, this one. No? Now what the heck, man? What could possibly be here in the scene which causes such a disturbances? Maybe this phase is so as stupid as this sounds sometimes. I'm gonna save this here. If this might be a super, I have like a super high quality painting. It's also not that. Okay, now I'm really confused. Okay, let's keep it simpler. Let's just copy the whole thing, or let's just say shield. And I'm going to deactivate this window here again. That's better. Copying the whole collection here. Yeah, hold on a second, I'm pausing it. No, great. So let's check this out a bit. What is responsible for this FPS break? I see. Yeah. Okay, that makes totally sense now. Good. I know I didn't check this offline. I would think so. See, this is how my brain operates. Thinks about what could people think about it. I promise you. The reason is I just had to go to the bathroom. So yeah, I saw that now. I used here an interesting method. Basically wave modifier to bend that. It's also, you know, with wave modifier can do more than you think. Let's see, for example, if I place this here, doesn't do anything. Yeah, because I need to change this one here, I think. So here's a wave modifier, and they usually run in an animation. So if I increase that, I can bend this guy a bit, which is really cool. Most people will probably not use that for this reason. There are other bending methods, but I think this is also usable. But wave is actually the wave modifier is there to create actually just an animated wave. That's the modifier is doing what it says, but can be abused for other things too. Okay, because I don't want to waste, I think I'm gonna just say those are backups. I'm gonna just put them into my backup folder and see how it performs when I'm just turning that off. And okay, it's not gonna be calculated. That's good. So, and here's a little glitch also. So this guy is rotating. I can bring this one here a little bit up, and then maybe camera a bit away. But now the sword looks too small, so I'm gonna make this just smaller. Bring it up again, and then back closer. It's actually good to use the whole visual space available, meaning we have to zoom in as much as we can, so that like so. Maybe we're using all the space here. Okay, because the resolution is very low. Okay, and in theory we could use also a different engine, to be honest, when we use that method. Could also be Workbench. Sometimes it's cool to use. There are three engines. Cycles is the most realistic one. It calculates light reflections and paths. Pretty realistic, to say it in simple terms, and that's also how I understand that. I'm not interested in the more detailed things. There are some videos people make, which are great videos. I don't give a shit because this is way over my head. They explain the path and the methods being used, which are, you can see how people are interested in different things and become an expert in the things they are interested in, which is good. But it's not my expertise, so I'm not interested in that at all. But it's definitely, I keep saying it because I really mean it. I don't give a damn about that. I don't personally acknowledge that even. I just have to acknowledge it, because if I'm in the reality of using those programs, without those people I couldn't do shit. But I would rather say I've done everything myself, but I just can't. It's just not reality. But yeah, I just try to be honest with the feelings I have as much as I can. Okay, so yeah, okay, so it is rotating, that's good. And why I sound more harsh, it's just, when I talk about people, it's probably the same thing with you. It's, if you don't know them in person, it's much different. If you talk with anyone in person, it's a different communication, so you also, it's better. In reality, it's much better than having a vague idea of what a person is doing. Even on YouTube, it's not you're not seeing the real person. Even when there is a face, a camera or something, as soon as someone records, it's not the same person, I would argue, to a certain degree. It's the, but if you, with your friends recording, maybe that's, if you have like a friends and you together record, then you probably, I think maybe even the most real, because your friends know you and the jokes kind of, revealing each other in a way, I would say. It's probably the closest you can get to the real person when you see friends recording a podcast together. I mean, if they, like, for example, I like that. Oh, let's not go into that. Okay, let's just see. Shadow, like so, and we can use this one maybe, and then changing the, how do I change the colors? I'm not so often in this engine. I have to check. I think, interesting. Can I change it like that? No, it's always high. Let's see. We need the main thing to change. Is there a metallic like this one? I like this one, how it shines, but I thought there is a way to change the color. This wouldn't work. Wait, it should actually. Let me check this object. Why is there alpha like this? Because the texture is alpha, right? I see. Wouldn't work like that with the alpha. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, I could use the 3D model of this guy maybe. Okay, no, fuck the engine. It's a good engine, I like it, but whatever. Let's use this one. It's fine. It's okay. We can. So let's see this one. How does this look with enabled compositor? Okay, because we are in this engine, light actually matters in here. Okay, I have to change the metallic again. This is an old sword. Is this the metallic? Yeah. Maybe less metallic. So it's being visible better because I can see it better. And let's see. So this is kind of cool, but it needs to move a bit like that, maybe. That would be good. Let's do that. Faces also. Let's check out the render. And you don't see the render again, so I have to turn on the other screen. I need to update here, see. Always on top, it says so. That's good. We could also isolate that in a way. That's also funny. You can do a bunch of shit here. Image coordinates. No. Yeah. Let's check it out before we do the lightning. We can also use an. I'm gonna turn this off again. Turning off here. So let's work a bit the sword itself. Now the light is too strong. Oh, this looks not too bad. Let's give the sword a little bit more detail. By the way, I would probably do it next time. I would do a sword, and I have a newer versions, but the newer versions actually don't look so. I like the shape of the sword a lot, separately. So this is also not, and then put them together. Let me just do that. Oh, didn't work out like that. Solidify. Huh? Do I have two of those guys? No. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's a good thing about us. About just doing the overlays. Just have to make sense a bit, to me at least. Well, sure, we could do that. You're right, my son, Hansdampf. There's another displacement. Shrink wrap. No, maybe like that first. This one, shrink wrap, modifier, solidify. That doesn't work with that. I see, yeah. Didn't I heard of it that it would be, there's a new method. I have to check this out again. Okay, no, you know what, I got confused here. Shrink wrap, not, no, when you do sub retopology or however this is called. What is happening here? Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't have the whole thing here. Ah, because this thing is not. Eh? I see. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes totally sense. I forgot that this is still not done in this way. Okay, I see. I see. Well, let's make it like so first. Yeah. Now solidify again. Like so, and we can try to, I mean, it's not necessary shrink wrap if I want to move this around. Could help a bit. Oh, I'm just doing it manually. Where's the other thing? Whatever. I see. No, this one doesn't have the keyframes here. But I really want to. Where is the other thing gone? Maybe I deleted it. I had here on the other side one and it's just gone. I don't know what I did. Oh, whatever. Okay. Maybe here. No, that makes sense. A bit. Again, I'm not a sword holder. Last time I was, using a sword in the real world. I think it's a week ago. I found some while cleaning the fun story. Oh, interesting story. So I was sitting at home 5 years ago, in my town, in my old town, and then my mom called, and she said, "Hey, Lucas, are you home?" And I'm usually home. Me and your aunt is coming. We're bringing you some swords. I said, okay, yeah, can you come down? And so they kind of, I don't know where they got those swords, like some fake theater swords, and I don't even know why. There's no connection why I would get that. It's just so random. I just got some swords, and then I put them also. They are just lying in the storage room, and I didn't use them as a template. I should. I always think, I could use them, and then they are stored, and you know how things are when they are stored. They are there forever. This is also why when you have things in your storage room you didn't touch for 2 years, you should maybe think about getting rid of it. It's in 2 years. Not. You always think, maybe. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, or I'll make the face bigger. I mean, it's a logo. Again, the idea is that I create overlays for other people, not for me. Then I would just, create this overlay without the face for other people to use in their own streams if they want. Right? I'm thinking about a website, but I don't have much money, and I have to see how I'm going through. And I don't want to learn things anymore. I'm just so fucking done with learning things right now. This is just not needed anymore. I cannot learn every freaking tool here. So I want to have a simple website where I can just put up my stuff, and people can use it. Maybe there's a chance that I could make money with that, would be great. But I have to think really a website. I have no experience in website stuff. Maybe color would be kind of good, but maybe black and white is also good. But the thing is, black and white actually is not bad, but black and white you can always make. So meaning with OBS later you can just, you know, make it black and white. So maybe using a color here is good, and then I can later use a filter, but I like it actually. Like an okay, let's check out the animation again. This one rotates, that's good. Also it has, when we want to have an endless animation, also the frames are quite long, but the resolution is quite low, so but let's make it for now. Let's figure out when it should end. Check this out. So let's keep it so that it's not accelerating, but just constantly rotating. And what I have done now, maybe it's not that. I'm always confused about this, either that or that. Maybe linear. Yeah. Okay, now we have to adjust. Well, I'll go back to this one. I like this one, easy, better. I think one frame before, I think it's good. Or maybe not. No. This one. Yeah, that's good. See? There's no, you cannot tell. Oh, wait. Sometimes this, I make this just big because it helps. Yeah, it looks like fine. Yeah, looks like this is okay. This one is not okay, but at least the, you know, you know, this is not a perfect thing, but it's good to, that's good enough to get an idea, and then later you can do again. If you want to do this for game engines, you have to then redo that. Also the approach. Yeah, but it works for now. And eventually, whatever, it doesn't actually matter how you create the things first when you don't know how to go, just you want to see, you know, you creating a rough template for yourself, and you can consider this as a template then. And when you're happy with that, you do the thing again, but with a better method. Yeah, that would help. Also, this is not really, here we go, that looks better. Okay, so let's check this out again. So this is, still didn't fix the little glitch here. Let's go here, start, and connect that one to this one here. Works. Then the camera can also move a bit, you know, maybe like zoom. But okay, let's do this one with you first, because I like that idea. So I'm gonna say this is good. Let's say we have right now 10. Let's go this way. It looks very fast, but actually It is. So like so, right? Either do this manually or we, you know what, I'm gonna turn, first of all, maybe it's better to already stretch this guy. So important is that so far the sword starts at O, and here we are at the finish line. That's good, then we can just say 250, bringing this back to 250. So let's check this out. That looks good. Okay, now we do the animation for this shield. Important is that the starting position and ending position is the same for endless stuff. When you want to loop stuff endlessly. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this one here on. It's too fast. Too slow. That's good. No, so this whole thing doesn't work like that. Let's do this again. Minimal movement. Apply to deltas. Now when I reset this guy, it always will jump back or not. Maybe it doesn't work if I apply deltas because I have to, yeah, probably not a good idea right now. There's another method I'm thinking of. Okay, let's see what, maybe like so. I could do this manually, sure. This is not the, this was my point. I was just looking what I like. Let's check this out again. What the, oh, yeah. Let's, yeah. Let's try different methods. I'm really not happy with this one here. It's too tedious. We could use a curve for that, but it's maybe too. Let's try something else. Empty. Where's my empty? Volume? No. Empty. Eh? What the heck? Am I stupid? Probably. I mean, it's without a question. This is the sad thing about Blender. It's always the user. I mean, there's rarely that I'm right and Blender is messing up. That almost never happens, unfortunately. Anyway, just say, here we go. Let's just say this one. Yeah, let's try this one. Don't know what I'm doing here right now. Let's just give it a try. Let's see how this will look like at the end. Curve, curve, curve. Empty, no. Oh shit, here, curve. I'm not quite there, I think, today. Here. This one, follow curve. Or follow path, whatever. What? Why wouldn't it? Because I applied everything. Hey. Empty. This is the empty. Weird. I see. Okay, this one here. Okay, let's do this again. Follow path. No. Good. Animate path. Why not? No, this one is going. That's good. No constraints. Copy location should be fine. Of this guy. And then with offset. And maybe. Okay. So it doesn't matter where I place this guy. I could place him back. Would still follow like that, but I think it's easier to actually now don't use offset. Let's really use the thing. World space. Okay, let's influence that. I don't like the, I've seen that. That's the problem with the influence stuff. At some point, it just cuts off, but it doesn't matter. We can use that. And now I have to think how I would. Like this is good. Speed control. How do I do this again? How do I increase this? Path animation. Oh yeah, here frames 500. So the higher the value, the lower. But now, yeah, let's not do that. It's stupid. Because yeah, how do I clear the? I forgot about this. This is also stupid. How do I clear the animation? That's something I've done back then, and I know it's possible. Maybe in a graph editor. How do I clear animations again like that? It's definitely possible. Is it this one here? I think so. Delay channels. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, it's easier to actually use that method here. Then I can control when it starts and when it ends. Yeah. Offset would be fine. Let's put this back to O. Although fixed position, yeah. Now 100% is 100%, yeah, okay. Let's say bum. Okay, one is 100% basically. And then here that would basically do it. But I don't want to have it, so I can shrink that. Yeah, so this would work. Let's just make it nicer. Wait a second, this one here. And then I could even animate the curve here a bit. Let's put that to O. This one like so, saving it because I like the method so far. It's only that this one So, bam, 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 bam. Let me just change the curve. Switch directions. So we start up and go low. Better, I think. Now I can adjust it again. Doesn't really actually matter because it's a loop animation. Doesn't matter when it starts, when it ends. Has just to be some point in the middle. I'm gonna make it the curve smaller, then the cycle of movement also is smaller. Just a little bit of movement, because it should be noticeable. It's more intriguing for the. Oh, look at me! It's more intriguing. Captain Spock. No, I know it's not Captain Spock, but it should be. It's more intriguing for the eye, but it shouldn't be too distracting as an overlay. But it doesn't matter. Some people are always upset. I could imagine. I don't know, because I'm a small channel. People, I have no idea. People, I don't. People only write you something. They only start to be honest when you're big enough, you know. Because I think that makes sense also. When you're having a small channel, sometimes people write stuff. Sometimes you get a little bit meaner, but overall, no one actually, neither they, well, I think you're getting more honest comments when you're just bigger, because people just think you can take it, which is probably true. And that it's a nice thing of people to do, actually. That's how you should handle it. I do the same thing. I'm not, if I see a small channel, a crappy video, it doesn't matter. So there's no reason to make, to give like just a worst thing to say or a thumbs down. I never do that, except I would do it if there is something harmful, or if I have a bad day. Never done that before. I've never done that, but I could imagine this is, depending on your mood. Sometimes if everything falls apart, people freak out sometimes. That happens. People are people. I've never done that again. I've done that with stronger channels, but I could probably I can only estimate. You also forget things, but I think it's not even 10 times in my life that I've done that, because it was never really necessary. I do though scream at the screen every time I see a video on Blender tutorial. If the guy talks like me, not about the topic, I scream. I always say, "Hey, shut the fuck up! Just go to the topic, man. What the fuck are you doing? Just give me the information, you stupid fuck." However, that's what I say to myself, because I'm impatient. But I know this is me. This is not the guy doing. So I say that, and I give a thumbs up, because I know this is not. He doesn't deserve that, So you can scream at the screen, but you should still. Writing a comment, like complaining about that, it's also helpful if it's nice. If it's an honest critique and you really try to improve, like your goal is to say, hey, I really want to help you with that. This is what I believe you're doing wrong. That's needed. This is something everybody needs. I need that also. You can feel free to write that if this is constructive in some way. You can do that, and I will not be mad at you. Like, there's just no way. I will take it. If I think that's valid, I will think about this. If I think you're right, but I still have to be myself, I will also be myself. But if it's something which I think, yeah, that makes sense, and you really mean it, I can feel that or see that on the way you write, sure, I'm consider it. That's the way you should do it. And if you want to be an asshole, feel free, whatever. Feel free. So, looks good, right? Animation so far. It's a little bit of movement. Maybe it's also good that it starts and stops, not constantly, But what else we can do? I think that's funny. No, we cannot use it as rotation. I can invert, but what's that good for? Offset, I can do a bit. When I do offset, I have even more. I could, but actually no, I think that's good. Also, maybe the sword can follow that a bit in a different way. Let's see. Let's use the same thing and let's say copy location and copy this guy with the offset again. Now I have to save in between before I continue. Now I have to change the position, adjust that a bit. And let's say this one shall be mirrored. And further away. Let me just, I'm getting here, it's too much. Yeah, see, let me reload quickly. I guess I confused myself. So when I turn this off, it's back to normal. That's good. This I also never. This is a weird concept to me. This world space and owner. This is just. I get it done always. I get what I want, but I just tweak the shit out of it. That's the way how I deal with that. I never know what works, and I never bother to actually understand. And but you don't have to. And again, there are people who are great at this. They shall understand that. I don't need that. Sure, would I benefit? Of course. But do I have to learn everything? No, I don't have to. Yeah. This doesn't work because of this one. See, if I would have done the rotation also as a copy thing, then I would allow for more freedom. So you know what? Let's do that. We can use this one here, which we already have. So this one, we can animate the rotation. One axis, doesn't matter which one. Let's say we start -1 here by 0, and we end this one at exact the ending 360. Direction also doesn't really matter. So now this one is endlessly rotating. One thing though I don't like is, again, this starts slow, it accelerates, then this I don't like. I want to have a constant. So we're gonna say here linear. But it still just do that, so I'm confused. Did I not say linear? Maybe I have to be in the graph editor. Yeah, I see. Okay, now we have, this is also linear now. Does this look better? Yeah, I don't like that. Now we have to adjust it because the, yeah, okay. I mean, it will help. No, but actually I liked it before better. So I'm just gonna create a second empty to not interfere with the other one. Empty. So here we go. Huh? Why is this so weird? Cursor to world origin. Empty. Here we go. So this one keyframe. Also, it doesn't really matter when I start and when I end, basically, for now at least. Like so. Also, I make this endless. So now it rotates endlessly. But it will matter. That's a bit dumb. Let's do that same thing again. This one -1. No, O, and we start at 1, yeah. That's good. And here, this one is finishing here. Like so, saving that. So this one is just rotating. Endless rotations are useful, but for loop things in a short animation doesn't make sense. I think here's a glitch, but we're gonna adjust that anyways. So now I can copy the rotation. This we don't need. Copy rotation of this empty here. Here we go. And setting this also key to linear. Didn't do it right. What am I not getting here again? I mean, it looks okay, but I wonder just now what I'm. I made it. Let's undo that. This one I have to select. Linear. Now it's without any stop or anything in between. Just yeah. Also see, this is basically now I can. The sword is still using the copy rotation, but I can do here offset legacy, and now I can. Wait, it still rotates, so I have to delete the keyframes from here. And now I can change position. It still will rotate in some way. That's a better, more. You can do just more shit with that. So thinking with this method. Example, you could do that like so, whoosh. But it's just, it kind of looks cool, but it wouldn't work, I think. So also you can change direction. That's also easy. We could have done it before too, and with a different method. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine. Maybe a little bit of wobbly, huh? Let's turn it on again. And then saving before I make it some changes here. Oh, you know what? Let me turn this off. Let's just say I like -1 seems to be a good value. Okay, let's leave it like that. Like so. Set this to all data, so I can always reset that now. And now I can adjust this one here a bit. And it has a little bit of the wobbliness because it uses the curve as well. But I can now mirror that. I should be able to. Why wouldn't that work? What am I doing right now? Actually, only the Z position should matter. Let's check this out. Yeah, but it's so tiny, maybe it almost doesn't matter at all. Can I influence that? No, that wouldn't make sense. Well, I'm just gonna duplicate this curve, make this one bigger, and I'm just using no, this wouldn't work, nonsense. I'm gonna just duplicate those guys, and this is the wrong one. So now I have 2. And I can use this one here. Is it stretching this thing also? No. So now I can control both individually. Yeah. Let's say 0.3. That's good, but I want it to also peek out a little bit of the shield. And for some reason it's not in the middle. But okay, it looks like that because of the thing. Let's mirror it, and this doesn't work. Let's turn this all on. It's too much dancing. This is okay, I think. Now let's change the position here. I'll make this sword. I see. Yeah. Going down way too much. But maybe it's just if it fits, if it doesn't go through it, then it's okay. But it does here a bit, so let's not do that too much. And the camera also we have to adjust. Although I really want to make either or maybe, you know what? Just make the sword longer. That's it, because problem solved. Let's check this out. Maybe too long. Maybe it was good before. Just a slightly, tiny bit. No, let's leave it like that. I think it's fine. Maybe this much. No, I think it's fine. Length is fine. I think we should just make sure it's not coming out of the camera so far. I mean, your camera is still adjustable, but yeah. So we have to make the curve smaller. Let's say 0.2. Maybe better, and then we can bring it up again. And what if I stretch it like that? I wouldn't follow because it has nothing to do with the Z, yeah. So just the camera a bit. Maybe it was okay like that. Just a tiny bit smaller. Yeah, that works, I think. That might be good enough. There's a little bit of movement. That's good. People can see that it's not just a picture. That's important. I mean, again, some people just want to see the gameplay. I get it. It's fine. I don't give a shit. It's not about that for me. ASMR. But here we go. You see something different. Don't complain about that. Although it includes myself also. Getting so complainy, bitchy about things sometimes. It's so annoying. It's like when you have those days where you complain about everything sucks. But at the same time, I'm happy that they exist, because otherwise life would be boring. So many people who annoy me on the internet. Like again, I'm not writing anything. I'm the silent type. But they annoy me. I think, come on. But at the same time, it's good that they are there. They make life interesting. So that's good. Okay, looks good. I think we're gonna check this out a bit as a final render. I'm gonna just render that one. I have to save that. On the desktop, shield and sword. I think sword. No, it's just Schwert. Fertig. Schwert. Fucking English with the word pronunciation sometimes so annoying. I mean, German too. German has some misleading things which sometimes are so stupid. Like whenever they read the rules, doesn't make sense, which is understandable. What I say, language. Also, the rules of a language, they don't matter so much while learning. It really is so. Fixing rules afterwards is still doable. Don't learn rules first. I wouldn't say that. It's good. It's not a good approach, and that's something I know about. You can fix rules afterwards, but it's much easier because you already using the language mostly right. Not always. You make still mistakes, and you will make still mistakes. But fixing them afterwards, it's much easier, and you can understand them. You can hear the pronunciation better. And then by fixing, I mean just repeat the right one. If there's a grammar mistake you make very often, repeat the grammar mistake you make very often. Sometimes though it doesn't help because you fall sometimes back in your old native language structure, and you will use this grammar structure for the language you've learned. And that is called accent, and that's fine, especially when you learn late in life. It's different to when you pick up a language when you're young. So anyway, about that I know. Lots of things I think about. I think they are right. This one I really know. Anyway, color, information, encoding. This one I'm confident. Lots of things I'm not so confident, but in this one I'm very confident. Here we go. Saving this one as a PNG. This is super important. I keep forgetting this one. This makes the background. Let's animate that. You cannot see the little preview window, which is fine. You see how fast it's rendering, and that's due to the resolution. We have, again, I would just create maybe, a more different kind of overlays, Also, there are also people, they love realistic shit no matter what, This is also an option, so less pixely, more realistic is an option. So we'll see about that. Okay, so hold on. Now I don't see Blender right now, useful Blender. I'm gonna drag and drop the new overlay into the OBS. And here it is. But I have to loop it still. Let me just preview that for myself so I can see that too. Okay. Now I have to loop this one. So I mean that's always, and then I can make it even smaller. That's a good thing. The resolution, it looks pixely up. I mean it's on purpose more pixely, by the way. You just saying that just in case you skip through the video. Now we have this little thing here, which would fit more to role-playing games, right? Like pixelated role-playing games, I mean. No. Yeah. Good. We have the next shit going on. So yeah, this is a format I like. I like babbling on this channel here. You can leave me comments. I'm reading them. I'm not responding because I don't want to kiss your ass. The reason for that is I'm very aware when I record. I'm very aware of all my actions. I cannot help myself. This is how I'm operating. I don't like it so much. The way I'm freeing myself is by being more an asshole, artificially. Maybe not. Maybe this is my default. So I don't want to write back to keep you here. You know, I was thinking that's one part of it. The other part is if there is a comment I can help, I really truly have this nature. I want to do that, but I don't want to keep you happy so that you stick around. Stick around if you find this interesting, and leave when you don't find it interesting. I think this is really the most honest I can be. And when you want to see something, some games or anything, let me know. I will consider it. I truly will. Especially when they are on GOG, or I may have them even. I'm not making a full let's play. I cannot commit to that. I'm just getting too bored too quickly. But we can check something out. That I wouldn't mind. You know, checking out things is cool. So let me know. And also, if you have some criticism, give me some. If you want to help me with that, if this is honest help, say it. I'm not gonna blame you for that. If you're being an asshole, I'm gonna be an asshole too if I feel like it, if I think bothering it, But again, this doesn't never actually happen so far. It's just too small for that. And if you have any ideas, yeah, that's also fine. Or any other topic, I don't give a shit. You can, if you want to talk about your stuff or or see some things, then let me know. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen.